everybody. Welcome to FM 2.0 and Press Play, presenting the Don Sit List with Tina of Press Play, the CEO of the app. We'll get into that in a minute about the whole app. We're going to play the song story game with our guest also, Brien. How you doing, Brien?
Doing great. Happy to be here.
Brien Allen. I like the unique spelling of the name Brien with an E.
I thank my parents for that one.
You're from the band Bridges Ablaze. Right away, Ruben couldn't be here, but I really want to get into the moment you guys met. Ruben was heading, I think, toward the military, right?
Mm. Yes, he was.
You were studying, hold on a minute. I thought it was fascinating what you were studying. Petroleum sciences.
Yes.
That's nerd right there.
Total nerd. I'm still a nerd. Actually working on a PhD thesis now.
Woo!
What's your PhD going to be in? Just petroleum science?
No, it's kind of a bit of a theory of everything, actually. It's like a quantum information theory I'm working on with ChatGPT, actually. It's kind of wild. But
Hey, that's probably a really good PhD to have at this moment in time, so good for you.
inspired by a dream. Literally a dream.
Really?
Nice.
Wait, can I dig into
I
that?
saw an equation in a dream.
Saw the equation in a dream. I want to dig into that a little bit further, okay? So I'm really into dreams, so this is like, woo-hoo. All right, so tell me about your dream.
I was reading a textbook and I saw an equation that made no sense, but it was just imprinted in my mind, and I remembered it when I woke up, and I started Googling it and I found nothing. And so the only place I knew where to go was either, my former boss or ChatGPT. And I went to ChatGPT, and that was a very interesting conversation. I ended up printing out like a 24-page document, and with a testable experiment too, actually. So it happened in the last couple of weeks, and I've always wanted to go get a PhD, but I just didn't know what I would do, and I think I might have found something. So I'll work on it, But I was out of college for about 10 years, doing music.
Right.
And so I'm still going to do it, but this is also a side
Doctor,
project.
where he goes.
He's what?
He just wants to call himself a doctor on stage.
Heck yeah. I'm just
Maybe.
So I'm like totally into dream states. I'm kind of like the hippie of the bunch, and like so. Just to dig a little bit further into that, do you feel like the dream is kind of like from the universe? Like this is kind of one of the things that you're supposed to do. Situation like
Yes.
this is kind of like your music. How music is channeled. It's just this idea of something else that you're supposed to explore actually came from somewhere else.
Yes, 100%. And I was a big skeptic of my own dreams for a really long time, but I kept a dream journal for about 10 to 15 years.
Yeah.
And after having about 30 to 40 of them, like predict events, I started to listen. And as a scientist, I was the ultimate skeptic.
Sure.
So.
Absolutely. That's awesome. So you believe that the music is channeled too as well. I mean, really.
100%, yeah.
That's awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Love that stuff. Tina, you can keep going. I mean,
I could dig into this stuff. So are you still in Austin? Yeah?
I am, yeah.
How do you feel about like the influx of all the people coming there from Hollywood, all the music coming there and the comedy and all that stuff? Did you grow up in Austin?
I grew up in Texas, not
Okay.
Austin.
All right, fair enough.
But
How long have you been in Austin?
as far as since 2010.
Okay, all right. So then you were there before the influx. Okay.
Yeah, I remember old Austin. It's quite different.
Yeah. Tell me what's different now.
Everything I knew and loved died.
Oh.
Not to be dramatic, but there were a lot of really cool businesses, on Guadalupe Street where I used to go to college, and even down on 6th Street there were some bars, and places, venues I was really fond of, and it's all gone. It's all gone. COVID was kind of the death blow, really.
Right. Is it rebuilding at all? I mean, you would think that it would be coming back a little bit just because of the influx of people and businesses and all that kind of fun stuff. So, I mean, Austin's kind of letting you down right now. And obviously, have you guys traveled at all with this band? Like, you're like traveling the country, I assume.
Well, we plan to this
Okay.
year. We just did our debut live show finally this year, and we're set to play another Austin show later this year, maybe at Empire. But really, we're kind of looking for a Texas like tour or a regional
Right.
tour, honestly.
Well, that'd be fun. You guys are really, really good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're getting into that big time.
Yeah. You should be opening for big bands. That's all I'm saying. Okay. I'll shut up, Don. Your turn.
That's our goal. That's our goal. We'd love to, be tour support for a national tour, ideally.
Yeah. So what kind of bands would you, I mean, if you could pick and choose, what bands would you want to tour with?
Oh man, anybody from Judas Priest to Escape the Fate to Architects, like spanning all the generations, we would take it.
I think
I
we
love
got some of those.
I love Architects.
They rip so hard.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that these colors run red. These colors run. That's
an old one.
But that's one of the best breakdowns I've ever heard in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Pigs. Oh yeah.
Oh man.
Unbelievable. Well, let's get into you. What I found fascinating was how you and Ruben met at an Austin, Texas guitar center.
Yeah, that was a stroke of destiny.
Yeah, well, I always, Dean, who's, one of our partners in this whole thing, we always talk about serendipity moments. Like meeting Tina is serendipity, and how Tina and Dean met, and then me meeting Dean. There were so many serendipity moments of all this stuff coming together. That meeting and being at Guitar Center, what was it? Were you guys just in a jam room? You had the room with the jam room with the amplifiers. Is that what happened? Is that how you guys met?
Essentially, have you guys ever been to a Guitar Center? I'm assuming
they have those rooms, like the acoustic room, and yeah.
Mm-hmm, yeah, and we were in the big, the whole thing, and they essentially had just walls of amps at this Guitar Center. It was on Anderson Lane in Austin, and I'll never forget. I was just testing out a guitar, and at that age, about 10, 11 years ago, I really liked to go there to, kind of show off. It was, and so
There's nothing wrong with that, Brien.
I definitely don't do that anymore.
Trust me.
I was young, but I was testing, right? And next thing I know, on the other side of the aisle, I hear this guy ripping way better than me, right? I'm like, what's going on? So my urge is to compete, right? I'm like, all right, well, that was awesome. Let me see what I can do. And it wasn't as good. And this guy's just kicking my ass. And so we exchanged licks a few times. And at a certain point, I just knew, like, if you can't beat him, join him, right?
Yes.
So I turned my amp off. And I, lean around the corner, and I'm like, hey, who was that? And there's two dudes. And then Ruben, he's, raised his hand. And I was like, man, I got to go get his number. And that's what happened.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so you guys just talked and called each other and said, hey, you want to start a band?
It took about 5 years to get that far, because he was definitely committed, with the other dude, because he's a loyal dude, and I love that about him, and so him and Abel, his past, guitar player, they were in a project called Unwritten for several years, up till about COVID, yeah, and but we were friends the whole time, I remember meeting Ruben several times for jams. He would always invite me over, and I met his band, and I was just that random guy hanging out with him.
Well, what I want to get into, speaking of riffs, which is you guys, because you're so talented, you guys know how to create incredible riffs. And I want to get into Heartless, which is your latest single. In fact, we've been featuring it on FM 2.0, Press Play, and Fab Radio, which is in Manchester. And we do a top 10 every week. And just also to throw a shout out to Dawn Natasha, who does our program directing and hosting. She created a show called The Drop, which just features new music. And she played that one, and that one went to number one in our top 10. People voted on Heartless immediately.
Whoa.
It's a really good tune.
That's crazy.
It's really good.
That blows me away.
Right. And I was like, oh my God, no sooner did she put it in there, people were already like, "Oh my God, this song!" So that leads me to wanting to play the song. I actually have it here. I want to share my screen. All right, so Heartless, the video and the song. Again, when you talk about riffs, and that thing is just a monster. And what I wanted to call out too was the behind the scenes video. When you were making the video, do you have any moments in that video that were unsuspected or unexpected? Do you have any of those?
During the what made to the final product, like what went into the final video?
Something that you were like, oh my God, put that in. Like it was one of those moments that you didn't know you captured. And did you have anything?
Not really. Maybe if anything, it was maybe more Ruben's acting, because he was the model for the video with Holly, and maybe for me it was the guitar spin that I did. I didn't even know I did it, and I saw it in the final product, and Ruben was like, "Dude, that was so sick." I was like, "I don't even remember doing it." So
that's well, and we'll play that whole spin in there when we feature the interview. Now, the other thing that is that on TikTok, this also blew up, right?
Oh, that was Heartbroken Angel. That was one of the older ones. That was actually the song Ruben showed me when I met him, but we reworked it in 2021, and then we re-recorded it maybe in 2022 with our producer, and we kind of deleted a lot of the song, and so it's definitely it got a new face for sure.
So when it comes to social media, and this is one of those things that we want to ask, what do you think the secret was for that song to go viral like it did, Heartbreak Angel?
Ooh, that was kind of a bit of a perfect storm. It was a bit of it was a bit to do with our distribution company. Vidya, had a connection with TikTok where your songs were able to end up in TikTok's CML. They call it the commercial music library. And that made it eligible for rock playlists and stuff. And Heartbroken actually ended up on it. And so whenever people wanted to click add sound, and then it would show the music, and you'd scroll down to rock, Heartbroken would usually be in the top few. And so it became a top pick for many videos, and a lot of the videos that shared it got millions of views. And so I think that's really what it was. But it was mixed in with, the song itself, the writing, the song clip we used, the guitar solo, everything. So it was just a perfect storm.
What got it on that list? Was it you just submitting it somewhere? Did somebody push it there? Was it a publisher? What got it on that list?
That part I'm not quite sure. As far as I know, they have an internal connection, and I guess it qualified.
Nice. Look at you.
It was wild because it was the song that made me want to work with Ruben.
So are you guys TikTokers? Are you scrollers of TikTok anyway? And then you're watching your videos blow up, and is there a sense of excitement and all that stuff behind the scenes?
There's definitely a sense of excitement when we figured it out, but we're definitely not TikTokers. So, yeah.
You mean you're not doom scrollers? Is that what you're telling me?
Actually, no. It's I feel like I spend maybe a couple minutes a day. I usually find funny stuff or science stuff. I'll send it to my friends. I'll get a good laugh, and that's
right.
it.
Is TikTok the only social you're on?
Oh, we're on everything. We make sure to have a presence for sure. We're not very good at social media, so we have a video friend that helps us immensely with, we find good locations, we'll record, key things we need to do, you know, elements of our songs, maybe an interview, and we'll have professionals, you know, edit that stuff, because we are terrible.
I'm with you. I'm
we
absolutely
make
terrible
sure.
too. I get it.
Thank God for Trent. That's all I gotta say.
Yes.
I'm terrible.
So, like, if I'm a fan of yours, do you have a personal page that I can follow, or can I only follow the band page?
We do have personal pages, yes. They are linked to, at least on our Instagram,
Right.
they are linked to like our personal Instagrams. And if you click on our link tree, which is on all of our socials, if you kind of dig for it, it should link you to our personal, at least our personal Instagrams.
Awesome. How do you feel about maybe signing up for one more application?
One more application.
Yeah. So we have this application called Press Play. It's where music lovers unite. It's basically a social site for music lovers, and where music lovers can connect with their favorite artists. And we're going to get into the song story game later, but it's basically where you can go on and you can record your song story, like what brought, you know, what music has like really made you who you are today, and the music that you love right now, and so that users can come on there and kind of see if they connect with you in a musical way. So it's kind of cool, but we're going to play a little bit of that later. But I'm just wondering, like, from your perspective as just someone who's not really social media focused, what would it be like to have yet one more app just for music lovers?
Just for music lovers, that sounds super worth it. Because one more app in general, but music, yes, absolutely.
Awesome.
Breath of fresh air.
Cool.
Another app. This was just music. Oh, okay. We're good.
We're good.
Exactly. Exactly.
I love it. Now, who wrote Heartless?
It was definitely a three-way effort between me and Ruben and our producer. But it's weird because that intro clean was inspired by something Ruben had in one of our really old content videos that he just made up on the fly. He was like, "Oh, watch this." And then I loved it so much that I did like a butchered version myself, and it turned out a little different. But yeah, so the intro clean, the was kind of a hybrid, and then the riff was that was basically me writing that in my girlfriend's apartment and working on it for like 2 years. And then the verses, that was kind of a combination between me and the producer, and the breakdowns were kind of the same. And then the solo was something that I just wrote in my room for a couple of years. That was a real bitch.
Wow. Let me tell you something. I'm going to skip ahead to the bridge because it kicks so much ass. Let me tell you something. If I had walked into Guitar Center that day and heard that, I'd have been like, I'm going to go learn keyboards. That is just incredible.
Impressive, young man. You should be very proud of yourself.
Thank you. It was very, very hard. I practiced it all the time.
Yeah, I'm sure it was, but it's great.
That's incredible, man. That's unbelievable. And that's why I love now I know how to do this too. So thank you for allowing me to do that.
Yeah.
The next what I wanted to ask you too was what comes first when you write? Do you come up with a riff, the melody, or the lyrics?
It could really go any of the ways, honestly.
Really? So I'm going to get into Apocalypse next.
I got a question before we move on, though.
Go ahead.
In that particular video, so of course the music is super intense, but so are the visuals, right? Like the part where it's like you could see like his almost to me it was like his soul was just blowing out of his body. Like who is helping you guys formulate the video, and like how did you guys come up with that? Like the visuals in that video.
Gotcha. That is essentially our video team, Wade. He's really good at that stuff. We were like really feeling Rain for this one, so we told him Rain. But when it came to the deeper concept and the editing, that was honestly largely Wade. After just talking with him about what the song really meant to us and stuff.
So Wade is a producer, director, editor, friend, or does he do this for?
Well, basically yes to all of that stuff, and he also does it as a side hustle.
Gotcha, man.
Yeah.
Kudos to Wade too, man, because he really made that song come alive on that video. So awesome.
Yeah, Wade rips. Wade is so good. We love Wade.
Well, then who did Apocalypse? Because this is like a zombie apocalypse video.
That was also Wade.
Oh, this is incredible.
Hey, tell Wade we're giving him kudos.
Yes. Well, let's do a little bit of Apocalypse because this is phenomenal. I'll do some skipping to get to some key parts, but this is incredible.
Do not resuscitate, comatose. I slip into the void, it's taking over me. Not a sign.
Let me pause this for a minute. Can you hear me?
Yes.
You have a great voice, too.
Thank you.
Wow. I mean, Tina, and that is so melodic. Wait, when it comes to hard metal, like hard rock metal, and your voice has that melodic tone to it, that is beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I've been in lessons for like 2.5 years, honestly, just to get good.
Really hone it in, which brings me a question, or I'd like to ask a question, like who are your influences? Like who are the bands that you guys listen to that are like influencing your art?
Just vocally, guitars, or both?
All of it.
Oh, yeah. It's such
Tell
a
me
range.
everything, Brien. I want to know everything.
It's a big range. I mean, vocally, we're kind of all over the place. You know, we'll be inspired by Incubus or Celine, Dion, Chester Bennington, rest in peace. Howard Jones, opera, you know, all sorts of things. Frank Sinatra. But then you have guitars, and that's just a totally different ballgame. You know, we're both like really into shredders and Jason Richardson, Yngwie Malmsteen, Michelangelo, Joe Satriani, Steve Vai, Polyphia.
Wow.
You know, Sinister Gates.
Celine Dion, that's an interesting one. Why Celine Dion? Tell me a little bit about that. Like,
God, she's a beast. Yeah. And her songs, you know, she writes directly from the heart. And for me and Ruben, that like, I don't know, that stuff makes us cry, you know. We really feel it. So.
Hear that, fans? Secretly, Celine Dion fans, right here. This is amazing.
Well, that song she's got, "Where Does My Heart Beat Now?" I love that song.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid to admit it. Remember, Tina, we were talking to Tracy Guns of LA Guns, and you said you love to put on some Barry Manilow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm a big Barry Manilow fan, and so was he. So that was interesting to find out. But I mean, you'd be surprised at some of the things like Celine Dion. You would never think that. Like when your fans watch this and they're like, "Oh, he likes Celine Dion." I mean, I don't think a lot of people in the music rock genre that you're in would ever even think to listen to Celine Dion, but maybe now they will. So that's pretty awesome.
I met a really brilliant musician in 2016 or 2017, and I said, "What's your secret?" And he said, "Listen to everything without boundaries." And so I really took him up on it, and I started just blowing down all of my doors, all the biases I had, like, oh, I shouldn't listen to this. I let go.
Beautiful, man. I talked to a hardcore punk band once. These guys are rough. And I asked him what was the song that really gets him. He goes, "Part of That World" by Little Mermaid.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, you think, like, that's hardcore punk. He's like, man, that song just gets to me every time.
I feel that so hard. It's like Winnie the Pooh, you know? I was watching that the other day, and oh my God.
You know what, though? You think about it. We might get older, but there's still the root of us as kids and the songs that we listen to, like, you know, the Winnie the Pooh song or Part of That World if you grew up on Disney. And so that never leaves you. And plus, listening to, I mean, I've listened to songs like Tina talks about Barry Manilow. My mom listened to all kinds of ballads and sad songs, sappy songs, and I love them, and I still will. That never changes. I mean, in high school, I couldn't walk around going, you know, I kind of like Culture Club. I couldn't do that. I love Culture Club. You know what I mean? I love Boy George's voice. So nowadays, I just go, I don't care what it is. If the music's good, I don't care who sings it at all. Like, you know. So anyway, I'm with you. But I want to get to this. I want to get to this amazing part of the video and song. This is the climactic part of Apocalypse. Here we go. God, I love that part, man. That breath. I love those parts in songs. The breath moment. So.
Yeah, that part was so much fun to create in the studio. We kind of improvised that part.
Did you?
Yeah, we did. That was not anything we predicted would happen. It just happened.
Well, see, the magic moments happen like that. That's a beautiful thing. I wanted to ask you, and then I'm going to do one more song, and then we're going to play the Song Story game, and then anything else Tina has. But because I got to feature Hellbent, because I think that's one of the greatest songs I've heard in a long time. Hellbent is amazing. But what do you think is wrong with the current music industry, and what would you do to change it, Brien? Like, if you could wave a crystal ball or do something, put into action, what would you do? Or if you think the current music industry is fine as it is, but what would you do differently?
I would destroy social media entirely. That's probably the worst part of it all. But it's also one of those things that, you know, you don't have the cons without the pros. And it really allows hustlers and entrepreneurs to really get themselves out there and work hard, you know, and make their careers on their own without, you know, a label apparatus. And that's exactly, you know, what we're trying to do. So I can't criticize it without saying that we're also equally reaping the benefits. It really is a pros and cons thing. But
why is it a negative to you as far as how music in the industry goes?
Well, I was talking with my buddy / drummer last night about this, and there's this sort of confusion about like what is an influencer and what is an artist. And I think a lot of influencers and artists kind of almost don't understand the difference. And to be fair, it took me a really long time to understand the difference too. I had to talk to some label people about it and meditate on it for a few years to get it. But at a certain point, it kind of comes down to, on social media, we train people to go after 10-second bites, right? And it's really hard to cram a life story into that. You can in a song, and that's hard enough. 3 minutes is hard enough, but you get that into 10, 15 seconds. I mean, it just kind of kills it. And so music is not as much about, that hardcore limbic resonance, right? Like with the limbic brain, or the mammal human brain, the emotional brain, really. And so training people to think differently, I think, has been a death blow to the way society operates, let alone how we process music. But it's also a really powerful marketing tool. So I mean, it's just, it is what it is. But I think maybe a return to patience, a return to silence, a return to decency, a return to just sitting down and listening for 5-10 minutes to a whole album for 45 minutes would be a very welcome change.
If, as an artist, when you're looking out there thinking, okay, how are we going to take this next step? What do we not have that we need? Like, isn't even available to us, but if it were available to us, it would be so much easier to take this next step. I mean, I know you want to take away social media and bring back basically the olden days where people would come to live shows and they would buy merch and they would do all these kinds of fun things. But obviously, we can't go back. We have to go forward. So, what is it that's missing that we I mean, us as companies want to figure out, what we can do to help artists and also music lovers come together in a way that they haven't in 20 some years.
I would say honest friendship and honest mentorship, because in my experience, you have to pay for a shit job, and these days, if you want access to anything or if you want any help, you basically get completely gouged and underdelivered. And my approach has been to pay things forward, in the ways I never got. So if I had to pay $2,000 for this thing, I'm going to give it to somebody for free, and I'm going to do a better job than I ever got. And so, as far as I'm concerned, that's what this world needs, is honest guidance, honest mentorship, people not trying to gouge people, people just giving freely and honestly without any strings attached, and not trying to mislead people, use people, manipulate people, any of it. Just, here's what you do. Here's some people I know. I'm here to help you. And that's what it really needs, is that.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. That's good. That's amazing. Thank you for that.
You want to get into the song starting with Tina? Want to go on mute again?
Yeah, if you're going to mute. Okay, so Brian, I'll tell you a little bit. So we have this game. It's called the Song Story Game. Okay. And basically, this is what happens when you go into the application. You're going to sign up for it and you're going to start answering questions that tell us a little bit about your life with music. Okay. It's going to ask you questions about your past. It's going to ask you questions about the things that you love now. And then it's going to match you with other music lovers out there. Currently, we're only in the United States and Canada. But it's going to match you with other people who kind of share your vibe, right? So, like, you can talk about music and the music you love. Somebody can go and look in your library at your song story and see, for instance, the first album you ever purchased with your own money, or the first, song or whatever, right? So it's based on songs, albums, genres, artists. So they can kind of learn about you through music, and you can learn about them through music, and you can share music and that kind of thing, right? Kind of like musical pen pals, if you would, for right now. We're getting ready to introduce some video components so that artists can currently go live on the platform and go out to all the people that follow them, but we're going to get into some more video stuff for artists so that they can put up videos and share more like they do on other platforms. But I'm going to ask you a couple questions just because inquiring minds want to know what makes you tick. And because we were going over all these really cool older songs, the first question I want to ask you is, they come on cool fun cards like this, right? And it's actually a game, so there's a few different ways you can play this. But what songs or what music reminds you of your parents?
The Doors.
Yeah?
Yeah, the Doors, Led Zeppelin.
So you're saying your parents were hippies?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
my dad would be blasting the Doors like out on the back porch.
that's awesome. And your mom?
Zeppelin for sure,
Zeppelin.
Pink Floyd.
That's awesome. That those are really good sounds to be grown up to for sure.
Honestly, me and my girlfriend, we were just jamming the Doors like a couple weeks ago. I avidly listen to Pink Floyd still.
Hmm.
Avidly.
That's awesome. That's cool. Did you ever get an opportunity to go to one of the concerts?
I wish, but no.
That's too bad. Okay, so and then the next question and the last one for today is, what is the first concert you went to as a child?
Oof, that was Gojira, Lamb of God, and Metallica in 2009 at San Antonio's AT&T Center.
Whoa, how old
Yeah,
were you?
17.
Wow, so it was party night.
I had no idea what I was getting into. Honestly, I didn't even appreciate Gojira until, maybe 5 or 6 years ago, and I realized just how genius they really are. A huge Gojira fan now, and I love Lamb of God too. But I was really there for Metallica at the time,
Yeah, for
and
sure.
that was amazing.
Gajira is like when you first hear Meshuggah, and you're like, "Oh, Meshuggah's nuts,"
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. I didn't understand it. I hated it at first, but now I love it. Meshuggah is one of my favorites.
Meshuggah's amazing, right?
Oh yeah.
So that's awesome. Metallica too. I got to see Metallica, 1992.
Wow.
It was Faith No More,
Oh.
Faith No More, Metallica, Guns N' Roses was the headliner.
Oh wow.
And that was when Axl Rose would take his good old time. So Faith No More came out and kicked ass. They were amazing. Mike Patton and his band. Then Metallica, that was when the Black Album came out.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, you're thinking Black and Justice for All and Master of Puppets. I mean, that was the music. So you're like, ugh. The Giant Stadium in New Jersey is just like mental, right? Like, all right, now it's, and Guns N' Roses had just released Use Your Illusions 1 and 2.
Oh man.
So you're talking all those. So we're amped, right? Like, 2.5 hours later, Guns N' Roses takes the stage.
What?
2.5 hours. By the time they came on, and the second song they always do is Mr. Brownstone every time. By the time they did Mr. Brownstone, everyone's energy was gone.
Wow.
Like I left after like the fourth song. You lose everything after 2.5 hours. It's just, you might as well just cancel the show. Yeah. But Metallica, unreal. If you've seen them, you probably had the same experience, right?
Yeah, it was for the Death Magnetic tour. It was amazing.
Wow. Tina, what's a concert like that would have been like this bill that you were like, oh my God?
Well, for me, back in those days, like I was really pumped the first time I got to see Motley Crue in concert. I'm a Motley Crue fan. I was a big hair band fan. So I got to see Motley Crue, Great White, those.
Do you remember what that was for Motley Crue?
I think that one was Girls, Girls, Girls. Yeah, it was a good one, and it was big. Well, I mean, my first concert was Kiss, Crazy Nights.
Oh, that's right. Told Tracy knows that.
Yeah, Kiss, Crazy Nights. I snuck out of the house. I was 13 years old. Yeah. And it was the night after. It was like December 26th.
How do your parents not know where you are at 13?
When I snuck back in, my mom was sitting on the bed waiting for me.
How red was your butt?
Ooh. Luckily, I didn't get whooped, but I think I was grounded for a while. Yeah, but it was worth it. It was so worth it. It was so good.
That's when you love music, when you're like, I don't care what kind of punishment I get.
For real.
Well, let me tell you something. I gotta play Hellbent before we go, because, dude, this bridge is unreal. Lord in heaven, is that a song? Holy smokes.
I have one last question.
Yeah, for it.
Watching that, okay, so Brian, I feel like we're kind of like on a level, but so when I the visuals of that one are very dark, right? And but I know that just from reading about you guys and how you're really kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Everything you do is based on love. Like I get that, right? Like you're very deep, very love, and very love conscious. So my question, I guess, is how are you guys taking this dark medium and mixing it with love? And like, what does that mean to you exactly? Like, because visually it's dark, but I know that it's coming from love. So I'm curious, like, what's behind that for you?
This one is about a lot of pain, which I guess is only possible when you love, right? So it's I guess you could say unrequited love in a lot of ways, in a lot of situations. I think one of the biggest inspirations was just my relationships with musicians, other projects, other experiences I had, and it was all so excruciating. And I think also an element of it was love for self, like we deserve something after so much pain, and we're still here, we're still fighting, we're still trying. So it's a lot of pain really mixed in with the love.
That was beautifully said.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It was really beautifully said. You're right. I mean, you can't, if you don't love, then you won't have pain. You'd be numb to everything. If you love, you're gonna feel when something goes wrong, something breaks, something dies. That's sometimes why people don't give their heart up. They try to be stone cold because they don't want to feel that agony. It's like I equate that to having a pet, right? We get these pets into our lives that only last like 10 years, but you love them and then they're died. It's this heartbreak that is coming in a short amount of time.
But you do it anyway.
You do it anyway. And there's some people who go, I don't want to go through that, but it makes it real. Like the pain makes the love real, I guess is a great way to put it.
Unfortunate.
The more you love, the more you hurt.
Indeed.
Wow, we got a lot of philosophy going on here. I love it.
I love to dig into that stuff. Like, man, it's so magical. Music, love, all of it. It's just so magical. And when it comes out of a song, it's even more magical, because I believe that music is something that we take with us, and I believe it's something that we bring back into this life with us as well. So, I think it's a very interesting. It's not just an art. I think it's, how they say the love is what you take with you, and I think it's just awesome, especially artists that can make the music. It's like you're a portal to heaven or something.
Heaven and hell both, really. I mean, it's this was a place to put all of our pain, really.
For sure.
And do something with it, maybe have a chance at metabolizing it for once. And that was my experience, like for once in my life, my pain made sense through music.
Yeah, very well said. It's amazing. Good point.
Thank you.
There's a line, right, that just hit me in The End by the Beatles, right? In the love you take is equal to the love you make. Mm-hmm. It's always a line that has resonated with me, and it's so true.
It is.
So you guys just keep doing what you're doing. I love your band. We're glad you came on our radar, and we're happy to play your music. And when you got new stuff coming out, we're going to be right there on it.
Yeah, for sure.
Well,
yeah,
we're both honored. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. And now Guitar Center needs to sponsor your tour.
We would be so honored.
We need to make some connections for these guys so they can go on tours with some bigger bands, because they deserve it.
Exactly. There's the last question I'm going to ask you. What would be a dream band to tour with?
Oh, maybe Metallica, really.
There you go.
Okay.
Put it in the universe.
Put it in the universe. We're actually going to be talking to Metallica not too long from now, I believe.
No way. Wow.
We'll say, hey, there's this guy, Brien Allen.
This guy.
And the Bridges Ablaze. You might want to bring him along.
Yeah.
Ruben's all right, but it's no.
Ruben's a better hang than I am.
Just kidding. But again, thank you. And again, Bridges Ablaze, everybody. Go support them. Go follow them. Buy their merch. Oh, by the way, do you still see people craving physical music? CDs, tapes, albums?
Yes. Awesome. Okay.
Good. So what do you see the most of? People wanting vinyl, CDs, cassettes, or 8-tracks?
Probably vinyl these days, strangely.
Vinyl. Beautiful.
Awesome.
Well, I know they're bringing cassettes back because they actually make Bluetooth cassette players now.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
there you go.
They make Ruben's fiance actually just got him something really cool. It's like a radio, 8-track, cassette, CD, vinyl, Bluetooth auxiliary, everything player.
Wow.
8-track? Hey, baby.
Wow. That takes me back.
Yeah, let me get my bag chair out.
And I promise that when we talk to the band Metallica, I will bring you up.
Wow, that's mind blowing. Honestly, wow.
I'm one of those connectors. I love doing that. So yes, for you, I will do that.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Truly honored. Thank you.
Tina's going to get a Christmas card from Brien. Well, thanks again, Brien Allen. Bridges Ablaze, everybody. Thanks for your time, everyone. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, Brien.
Thank y'all.
Brien. Bye-bye.